Look, for Task 1 writing, your opinion is not required and you pretty much need to interpret and compare data. Hey guys, this is Chris and welcome to Hacking IELTS, your community for tips and tricks on how to crush your upcoming IELTS exam. On this show, we'll look at some ways that you can be better prepared for the test and get that high band you're aiming for. If you haven't heard of our podcast, we've already broadcasted episodes 1 to 4. But for future episodes, we'll be going with both video and audio formats to make things easier for you guys. Okay, in episode 4 of the podcast, we looked at the reading section. In this episode, we'll take a look at Task 1, Academic Writing for IELTS. For more information, you can check out IELTS.org. To review, the academic writing tests consists of 2 writing tasks, one of 150 words and another one of 250 words. In Task 1, candidates are asked to describe some visual information, which could be anything from a graph to a table, a flowchart, or a map. You'll need to write 150 words in 20 minutes. I often tell my students that although Task 2 is 250 words and 40 minutes, it's actually easier than the Task 1 academic writing. Why? Well, for Task 1, your main job is to identify the main trends or figures for a diagram, and you have less time to get the job done. So, what do we need to create the structure of an academic writing Task 1? Let's look at each of these in greater detail. First, you'll need to introduce the diagram with a couple of sentences explaining the Task 1 diagram. And the best way to do this is to paraphrase the title of the diagram, which simply means change the title using your own style of writing. Stick to the 4 W's, who, what, when, where, but avoid answering the question why. You need to be very careful of not providing your opinion for this task. Just analyze the data and just give the facts. Once you've introduced the diagram, you'll need to provide something that is absolutely critical, and this is something that's called the overview. The overview should occur at the beginning of your writing or at the end, rather than in the middle. Think of the overview as a bird's eye view of what's happening. From high above, you can see everything, and you can get a general view of the landscape that's below. Remember that if you don't have an overview, you're going to be penalized. So make sure that you satisfy the test requirements. Okay, you've introduced the diagram and you have your overview. What else do we need? Well, we need to provide the details in the body of the Task 1 writing. Be careful of just listing off every single detail that you see. Remember to identify similarities and differences in data. You should always be looking for patterns and seeing what things are the same while identifying what things are different. What are the things you'll absolutely need to cover? Well, you'll need to paraphrase the prompt. What's the prompt, you might ask? This just means the question that's being asked. Make sure you don't copy the prompt word for word. If you copy the prompt word for word, it's called lifting, a fancy word for copying. And what happens if you're caught lifting? 2 things. First, your mark for Task 1 achievement will drop by 1 band, which means you no longer have your introductory paragraph. Second, since you no longer have your introductory paragraph, you'll have less words for your total word count. And if you're under the word count, this can also drop your task achievement band by 1. What else is required? As stated earlier, answer the 4 W's, but never the question why. Look, for Task 1 writing, your opinion is not required, and you pretty much need to interpret and compare data. Okay, this wraps up episode 5, and thanks for listening. In our next episode, we'll start getting into common mistakes and strategies for Task 1 writing. Don't forget to visit our free courses online at hackingielts.com. We also have an ebook available on Amazon and Apple Books called 50 Hacks for IELTS. Take care, guys, and catch you in the next one.